G'day guys, Ivan here at the Perth WAtch channel. Yes, I'm broadcasting from the office today. Probably the first time I've done it in this particular suite. And today I have here another piece from GearBest. This is the second StarKing watch which I have reviewed on the channel. So again, this is a fairly basic packaging. It's just cardboard. And interestingly, 型黄表, StarKing, this one actually means literally StarKing watch. So interestingly, they've chosen to transliterate that to StarKing, which is a one-word English pronunciation. So it's interesting why they chose to do that. I'm not really sure, but it's a little bit of a, I guess, a unique name that you can search up. So packaging, nothing too special. Just, fairly tight cardboard box here. And inside, you're going to get a little bit of microfiber cloth for cleaning. And then a very basic tag here with the name of the company on there. It says 2,500 renminbi, yuan, Chinese yuan, which actually translates to about 350 USD, which really isn't the price that this watch will go for anywhere near that. In fact, on GearBest, the full price that is listed at is about 135 USD. On sale, it's going for 100 USD as we speak. So let's turn the camera around and take a closer look at this particular piece. Alright guys, so here we have this particular piece in close-up here. So let me just show you the face in closer detail. So right here what we have is the StarKing AM259 retro bronze in wood color. So this does come in a couple other colors. I think they call it a midnight blue or something. There are a couple other variations, but this one I think really is the original because it's the only one that actually has this bronze color, which is the name of the watch. So, I've mentioned the prices before, all links down the bottom to product placements as appropriate that I can locate. So in here, I've mentioned that this is a Chinese watch from GearBest. So the movement in this case is actually a Chinese movement. I didn't know this one before. I had to ask around. So this is, as far as I can tell, the DG4813, or a variation of the DG4813, a high beat version of the 21600 DG2813 movement, which is, I guess, a movement that is used as a kind of a Miyota analog or a Miyota stand-in. This one is actually a high beat 28800 beat per hour version, and I've confirmed that with my time grapher. So it's interesting to see that they've actually included a high beat movement in this watch, which is relatively low price. Okay, jewel wise, I'm not really sure. It's very difficult to find confirmatory information on this particular variation here, but I think it's at least 21 jewels, or most of the movements seem to be 21 jewels. The power reserve of the lower beat is rated at 40 hours. The consequence of increasing this to 28,800 beats per hour is the reserve suffers. So most people seem to report that this goes around 30 hours. Some people say that it's even poorer than that. I haven't really run it down flat from full charge, so I can't really confirm that in my own use. It does have manual winding in the 0 position here, so this is not a screw-in crown. It does have a quick set date. In this case, oddly, it's implemented on the 9 o'clock position, so it's a nice little change, I suppose, not to crowd the right side of the dial there. They've kind of put it on the left side next to the 9 o'clock numeral there, and it does hack. As I pull this out, you can see that small seconds, and it does have a small seconds dial, does stop turning when you adjust the time. The rated accuracy, I have no information on that. I couldn't find anything, but in use, it's actually not bad. It's actually performing at +8 seconds per day, which is absolutely fine in my reckoning. Moving on to the case then. So this one is a 42mm square case. You can see it's kind of a square cushion, and it does measure 42 across there and 42 across there. But of course, there's also lugs to consider, and the lug-to-lug distance is actually a fairly robust 50 millimeters between my thumbs there. It's actually 50 millimeters. Thickness is not bad. It's just a smidgen over 11 millimeters on the thickness there. Right, as I let you see the thickness on the side, 11.2 on my calipers. And then moving on to the lug width is actually 22 millimeters lug width there. Overall, this watch is actually quite light with this leather strap. It comes in at only 84 grams, which is very comfortably light on the wrist. Okay, the case finishing, right, just let you look at that as I pan around, is a pretty decent kind of a faux aged bronze kind of finishing. And that's really what this watch is going towards, with the name actually meaning retro bronze. And look at that, that design crown there. It's quite an interesting design. I don't know what you call that shape there, but that's obviously a very purposefully chosen design for that particular crown. So that iron plating finishing is actually this aged bronze on this pillow style case. Right, the display back, it's actually just a plain steel. You can see there. It's actually a proper screw-in display back. Some details around the side there, stainless steel, automatic, sapphire, and whatnot. So with that push crown, it is rated at 50 meters for the water resistance rating, which is okay. It would have been nice if they implemented a screw-in crown with a higher water rating, but this is what you're getting here. Okay, let's talk about the dial now. Right, it's flat black as far as I can tell, with a mix of printed and applied elements. So, the StarKing automatic at the top there is printed. The numerals 1, 2, 4, 5 and whatnot are printed, as is most of the chapter ring and the little sub dial there, but you got applied 12, 3, 6, 9. So the compass numerals are actually applied with kind of this gold tone, which is another kind of a detractment here. It's a bronze finishing, but they've gone for gold tone on numerals. They've gone for gold tone on those hands, and those hands are actually another thing that's quite interesting. Is the squelette style hands with lume on the hands, as well as the compass numerals and some of the sub dial there, but not the 1, 2, 4, 5 numerals. So of course I'll put a lume shot to let you see which are actually loomed in the dark. Okay, moving off the dial onto the glass above that, it's actually a flat sapphire crystal. That's what it's described as. All right, the strap itself, nothing much to talk about. It does have a bit of a, I guess, a suede finishing, you might call this, which is, which I can appreciate. Just a fairly basic strap, that you've seen a lot of iterations of in Chinese watches. And then it's got a plain steel buckle there, so a mix of brush and polish finishings on the steel buckle there. Okay, so that's really the watch in description. What have I really enjoyed about this? Well, really the looks. It's really quite a good looker. I really enjoyed the look of this. I think a lot of it is actually, of course, homaging Panerai. I think, say, the Luminor Marina models with the small seconds, especially that small seconds hand, really, I think it's taking off Panerai with that case shape. Of course, it doesn't have the protector for the crown. It doesn't have Panerai hands, but, I think my suspicion is a lot of the influence and inspiration comes from those watches. It's got fairly decent finishing. I quite like the bronze finishing. It hasn't shown any weaknesses. There's certainly no immediate chips that are evident on the finishing, and it seems to have lasted, as I have worn this on the wrist for over a week now. It's 42 millimeters, which is a very decent size. Yet it's actually quite compact because of its lightness and its thinness. So let me just put this on the wrist for the wrist shot now. And there we have it, the StarKing AM259 42mm watch, 50mm lug to lug on my 17 centimeter wrist. That's how it looks like on the wrist there. What are the weaknesses? Well, I think the choices of the steel finishing, there's a bit of neglect or a bit of absent-mindedness here. You've gone for bronze here, but they've put gold tone on the finishing in the dial. They've got plain steel on the back and plain steel on the buckle. I think that's a real shortcoming. It's a pity that they've done that. The case back doesn't matter, but that really should have been bronzed. And the markers, it would have been nice if they could have kept that kind of a bronze color as opposed to the gold tone that it comes in. Maybe that's too difficult to achieve, but it looks a bit, how do you say, split personality or schizophrenic, I suppose, with that mix of finishings. That's something I don't really think is the best thing about this watch. And then, of course, the strap. I always complain about the straps. They're pretty run-of-the-mill. They probably won't last. They're not feeling of great quality. The suede is a little bit nice touch, but, it doesn't feel world-beating by any means. So there you go. That's my review of this watch. Let's flip the camera around and do the wrap-up now. So guys, there you have it. Review of this particular StarKing watch. Quite a good looker, I think, and I'm probably going to hang around this for a little bit. Not going to flip it immediately. It really is quite an attractive piece on the wrist, I think. But ultimately, my biggest reservation is probably that movement in there, that Chinese movement, which is the first one I've seen, and I'm not sure about its utility. It's supposed to be a workhorse, but let's see how well this lasts. So guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you next time.